probability of achieving what's most important to you and your family. But it's important for you to stay throughout the entire webinar to get the full benefit of it you deserve. Before we begin, let me tell you why I'm so passionate about what I do and how I serve my clients. Here's the reason. I started over 20 years ago, and my father is an estate planning attorney, and I saw how much he had in terms of effect on people in their financial lives. And when I got older, I decided that is what I wanted to do. I wanted to help people. So that's why I do what I do. And I've had the privilege of working with many executives in Kansas City and business owners, and we have consistently found that they have 5 concerns, key concerns, when it comes to managing their finances. These concerns are very real in today's world, where we still have not fully emerged from the effects of the Great Recession. And they can have a major impact on whether or not you are able to achieve what's most important in your life for you and your family. We're going to talk about each of those 5 concerns and the strategies that we're seeing being used to address them effectively. In fact, we're using the same strategies in our practice to assist our many clients. If you're a high-tech executive, a high-level senior executive, or business owner, chances are you will recognize yourself as we discuss these challenges. Our goal is for you to make informed decisions about addressing your challenges. So let's get started. We've discussed 5. Let's get started. The overview of the presentation is pretty simple. We're talking about taking a comprehensive approach to your financial life, rising above the noise, 5 key concepts for financial success, and your next step. That's what the presentation is going to cover. Money means, as I said, many things to different people. Each of us have dreams. We want financial freedom, or we want to educate our children or grandchildren. We want to travel or have a vacation home, leave a charitable legacy. Whatever your dreams are, you need to have a framework for making these wise decisions about your money that will help enable you to achieve all that is important to you. And there are a broad range of financial issues calls for a broad, comprehensive look. It's for this reason that many affluent individuals want help with more than just investments and want real wealth management, a complete approach to addressing their financial lives. Now, I define wealth management as a formula. Wealth management equals IC plus AP plus RM. IC means investment consulting, and that's astute investment management over time. Advanced planning is where we work on wealth enhancement, making sure we minimize taxes, we maximize cash flows. Wealth transfers, making sure the money that you've accumulated gets to the people that you want. Wealth protection is making sure that your funds are not unjustly taken in a lawsuit or in anything legal. And then there's charitable giving. Then we move on to relationship management. And with clients, we want to make sure that we know how often they want to be contacted, how they want to be contacted, etc. We have relationships with our network of financial professionals, such as CPAs, attorneys, property and casualty agents, mortgage brokers, etc. Rising above the noise is imperative because some investment professionals work hard to make their work confusing. They believe they have a vested interest in creating investor confusion. They use jargon that we can intimidate and make it difficult for you to understand exactly what content to understand relatively straightforward concepts. But investing is actually not that complicated and we'll explore the different methods that investors use to make decisions about their money, and we'll talk about how we believe you should approach your portfolio. In the investment decision matrix, we have market timing, yes and no, security selection. In quadrant 1, we have the noise quadrant, which most individual investors and financial journalists are in. In the second quadrant, we have the wisdom quadrant, where financial planners, stockbrokers, and most mutual funds fit. In quadrant 3, we have tactical allocation quadrant, where it's pure market timers, asset allocation of funds. And in 4, we have information quantity, academics, many institutional investors. Now, if we look at the 5 key concepts of financial success, the first is we have to have leverage diversification to reduce risk. Number 2, we need to seek lower volatility to enhance returns. 3, use global diversification to enhance returns and reduce risk. 4, employ asset class investing. And finally, 5, design efficient portfolios. So let's talk about concept 1, leveraging diversification to reduce risk. The cycle of emotion. If we look at our cycles, we have hope and ideas. And then we look at greed, which means buy. Then we have fear, and fear usually means panic and sell. And then we have disappointment, when all we've done is basically our money has stayed the same over the entire ups and downs of the market. Buy high, sell low is typically what most people go through. In our concept 2, we need to look at lowering volatility to enhance our returns. We always want to look at consistent rates of return. If we earn consistently 8% a year, we can see that the balance at the end of 5 years grows. So we have an arithmetic average of 8%. Now, if we throw in volatility into the mix, we have 30 up 31 year, down 21 year, up 25 1 year, down 20, up 25. We have still an rate of return average of 8%. But look at the rate, the actual dollar value at the end of the same 5-year period. That's due to the volatility. Consistency increases the ending value of a portfolio. And if you look at the compound rate of return, is significantly lower than the consistent rate of return. And consistency beats portfolios. 2 portfolios with the same average return, portfolio A, portfolio B. As you can see, portfolio B underperforms every single time due to the volatility, but has higher highs and lower lows than the consistent portfolio. Now, diversification to enhance risk. We want to use global companies. Now, these are investors here in the U.S. tend to favor stocks and bonds of U.S.-based companies. Unfortunately, these investors' emotional reactions are causing them to miss out on one of the most effective ways to increase their returns, and it's by looking overseas investments. You greatly increase your opportunity to invest in superior global firms that can help you grow your wealth faster. Global diversification in your portfolio also reduces its overall risk. The price movements made between international and U.S. asset classes are often dissimilar, so investing in both can increase your portfolio's diversification. And when we want to get to concept 4, employ asset class investing, we want to make sure we have lower operating expenses, lower turnover resulting in lower cost, lower turnovers resulting in lower taxes, consistently maintained market segments. So let's look at here, a XY axis with expected returns and standard deviation. Standard deviation is essentially the volatility. And as we go out, this is what's called the efficient frontier. And what the efficient frontier basically says is for any given amount of risk, you can expect a rate of return. So the more risk you take, the higher expected rate of return you're going to get. The lower amount of risk you're willing to take, the less you're going to get. Case in point, you buy CDs, there's virtually no risk, therefore your rate of return is going to be low. An efficient portfolio sit right on the line. And what that does is that increases return while decreasing volatility. That's what that round dot means. So treasury bills basically have very little volatility and very little return, as I said. The S&P 500 has more volatility and has higher rates of return. But by blending portfolios, let's go back to that, by blending different asset classes, bonds, stocks, international, small, mid-cap, you get on that efficient frontier and you're able to decrease your volatility and in the same time increase your rates of return. Now, the need for wealth management is taking a comprehensive approach to achieving all your financial dreams requires wealth management. This means means more than taking care of your investment. It also means addressing your advanced planning needs, including the wealth enhancement, your wealth transfer, your wealth protection, and charitable giving. In true wealth management, many in the financial services today call themselves wealth managers, but offer a little more than investment management. How then will you know whether you're dealing with a true wealth manager? Well, the wealth manager should offer a full range of financial services, including the 4 areas of advanced planning. The wealth manager should work with you on a long-term consultative basis. And here's the process. The cumulative consultative wealth management process that I use. Discovery meeting. That's where we're finding out where you are, where you want to go, and are there any gaps in between. After that meeting, we move on to what's called the investment plan meeting. And this is where we discuss those gaps, how to fill those gaps. And then after we have figured out that we have some gaps, then we come back for another meeting where we decide whether or not we're a good fit to work together, whether I feel that we would be a good fit or you would be a good fit. But that's the mutual commitment meeting, because in the investment plan meeting, my clients do not make up their mind to work with me in the investment plan meeting. They make that up after they go home and read over the investment plan and the strategies. Then we come back to the mutual commitment to see if we both mutually want to commit to working with one another. Well, once we do that, about 45 days later, we have an initial follow-up meeting, because that's when all the paperwork comes in and all the things need to be put together. And quite frankly, we have to regroup and make sure everybody knows what everybody's expectations are. And then again, we have the regular follow-up meetings that you have decided of what you want, whether it's every month, 6 months, quarter, what have you. And during the investment plan side, the investment plan follows to the investment plan meeting. And then once we get to the advanced plan side, after a mutual commitment meeting, that's when we bring in my professional network of CPAs, attorneys, etc., to help us formulate the advanced plan. So in conclusion, you owe it to your family and yourself to make sure that your investment